Students' Loan Bill signed into law on June 12, 2023 by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu facilitates interest-free loans for Nigerian students, particularly those from indigent backgrounds. The aim is that financial constraints should not hinder higher education in universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. This law, experts explained, will have a significant impact on Nigeria's educational system, and it could potentially extend to sectors like technology and finance. Understanding the details of this law is crucial. So, on Panorama today, coming to you live from the Lagos Network Center of the Nigerian Television Authority, we shall be highlighting some of the gains from Nigerian students' loan bill, particularly as it affects the students and to a large extent improve the standard of education in Nigeria. Do be reminded that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. I am Adeola Komiakere. Welcome to Panorama. We begin with Mr. President. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has approved the immediate dissolution of the governing boards of all federal parastatals, agencies, institutions, and government-owned companies in the exercise of its constitutional powers and in public interest. A statement from the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation notes that the dissolution does not, however, affect boards, commissions, and councils listed in the third schedule, Part 1, Section 153, Subsection 1 of the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended. In view of this development, and until such a time new boards are constituted, the chief executive officers of the parastatals, agencies, institutions, and government-owned companies are directed to refer matters requiring the attention of their boards to the President through the permanent secretaries of their respective supervisory ministries and offices. Permanent secretaries are directed also to route such correspondences to Mr. President through the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. Permanent secretaries are particularly directed to inform the chief executive officers of the affected agencies under the supervision of their respective ministries and offices for immediate compliance to the directive which took effect from Friday, 16th June 2023. Foreign investors have been expressing readiness to strengthen partnership and increase investment in Nigeria as they commend the new climate for businesses in the country. Correspondent Musbao Dan Wahab reports that President Bola Tinubu received an audience some international investors, including Microsoft co-founder Bill Gates and the president of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, at the State House.
It was apparently a day to get down to business with the big names in business. African billionaire Aliko Dangote led one of the world's richest men, Bill Gates, to the State House. The duo are founders of two separate foundations that could offer the partnership for development that President Tinubu's administration is interested in. The Gates Foundation has maintained decades of partnership with Nigeria to boost disease control, boost agricultural productivity, expand access to digital financial services, empower women and other marginalized populations with greater economic opportunities. And with the Aliko Dangote Foundation, the possibilities are tantalizing indeed.
And also committing to do more and to help Nigeria so that our health sector will keep improving, which will turn out to be better for the whole citizens of the country.
The owner of the only private refinery in the country also expressed support to the stance of the government on fuel subsidy removal.
Well, I expect that it's going to be better for everybody. There will be more money now to put into education, into health, infrastructure and other areas. And our own side is to help support him to make sure that he achieves his own vision and his goals.
The forex regime, which now creates easier access to foreign exchange and improved environment for businesses in the country, are part of the game changers, eliciting commendation from investors. One of the giants in the telecommunication industry, Airtel, is equally expressing readiness to leverage on these for possible increased investments.
One of the key changes that His Excellency the President has made in the first few days of his tenure has been making Naira free float onto the market, letting the market decide, as opposed to CBN's very convoluted structure of 4 or 5 exchange rates, which was very difficult to navigate for companies like ourselves and many, many others, MNCs. As you've all seen, the Naira has devalued, but the worldwide markets have given a standing ovation to this move. And the dollar bonds have strengthened here in Nigeria, and generally there is an excitement in the investing and companies who are going to be coming to put up their bases here in Nigeria.
President Tinubu also received United States Assistant Secretary of State, Bureau of Energy Resources, Jeffrey Prait, partner in Nigeria on energy transition, where the Nigerian leader called for a stronger and better cooperation with the United States as Nigeria and the rest of the world move in the quest for renewable and other sources of clean energy. The president told the delegation that Nigeria will honor all its obligations to climate change and quest to clean energy. Ambassador Prait extolled the bold economic initiatives already taken by President Tinubu with respect to fuel subsidy removal and unification of multiple foreign exchange rates, which he said President Joe Biden is in support of. From the State House, Musbau and Wahab, NTA News.
The federal government has set up a technical committee to investigate media reports alleging some ship owners are keeping their vessels away from Nigeria to claw back unpaid duties from 2010 to 2019. State House correspondent Abdulrahman Usman Jibrila has the details.
Responding to the allegations after a strategic meeting, the federal government says vessel owners must comply with the Nigerian tax laws, nor will the country accept any blackmail from any defaulter.
So we've agreed to give the parties 3 months to come to the conclusion. And then within those 3 months, we will give also the grace period of 6 months, where we will not enforce any of these law, just to allow for reconciliation. So in essence, no vessel or ship will be detained or delayed. So we give this 6 months break for them so that they can reconcile with this technical committee that we set up. So Nigeria, as you know, is open for business, and we are business friendly, as you've seen from what we're doing and what we will do. So we are open, but it is not to say that anybody will take advantage of the country. We have the law, and the law must be respected.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Mainstream and Downstream Regulatory Agency denies issuing import permits to some companies, leading to this stall, as reported by some sections of the media. The reports say the action was taken after a series of multi-million-dollar tax bills were sent out.
It has no mandate to issue import permit to any organization or any entity or any company. It is the sole responsibility of Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, NNDPRA, to issue import permits for, in this case, premium motor spirit. So the notion that NNPC Limited issued out permit to Dangote Refinery for importation is not true, because they don't have the legal backing to do so. Secondly, the notion was that NNPA only issued 3 permits to importers, permit to only 3 importers. That is not so either. For the month of July, imports, we at least received and cleared 6 companies that have expressed interest and have vessels offshore that they needed to fix for delivery in July.
The NNPC Limited says it has more than 30 days fuel sufficiency for distribution and supply across the country. From the State House, Abraham Usman Jibrila, NTA.
Panorama, the Lagos Center overnight. Many thanks for staying with us. With the recent signing of a students' loan bill into law by President Bola Tinubu, indigent students in Nigeria now have an opportunity to fulfill their dreams of acquiring higher education. Correspondent who spoke to some Lagos residents reports that the new law is drawing applause.
President Bola Tinubu is making good his pledge of revitalizing the education sector. By signing the student loan bill into law, the president has matched his clarion call, "Let the poor breathe," with action. This, some students described as a life-changing opportunity.
Since it's something that no past president has done before, so I believe it's a welcome idea.
I send myself to school, so those kind of loan can actually help me.
The time limit we have to raise our school fees most time it's limited. So going for a student loan is actually, I welcome that idea.
While stipulating that applicants or their family income must be less than 500,000 naira per annum for them to be eligible for the loan, the Act also provides that the loan applicant must have at least 2 guarantors, a civil servant of not less than level 12 in the service, or a lawyer with at least 10 years post-call experience, a judicial officer, or a justice of peace.
Must commend the new government for that initiative. And it couldn't have come at a better time than now, where the poverty rate in Nigeria has hit almost 63%. You know, it means that 63% of Nigerians are living below $2 a day, which is about 1,000 or 1,400 naira a day.
It shows that there is a kind of concern by this new administration that there is a kind of crisis within the education sector and that it is ready to tackle it.
As a caveat, intending beneficiaries are barred from misusing the opportunity, as such applicant will be disqualified if he is proven to have defaulted in respect of any previous loan granted by any organization or found guilty of any exam malpractice, among others.
Joining me live in the studio to further discuss the benefits of the Students' Loan Act and the implications on the educational sector is Benga Arowolo, a stakeholder and a public affairs analyst. Good to have you join us on Panorama.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon, Nigerians.
Okay, now, one of the campaign promises of Mr. President was the student loan. So are you surprised that at the speed at which the president signed the bill into law?
I'm actually not surprised, because knowing Asiwaju's antecedents, he's a man who is very thorough and is a man who is extraordinary executioner. You know, judging by the fact that from 2015, you know, the campaign that brought President Muhammadu Buhari into office, he had been hammering on student loan. And so, for some reasons, the administration of President Buhari couldn't actually, you know, implement that. You know, so I think, you know, it's a welcome idea to, at least within the few days in office, to have signed that into law. It's quite exciting.
Okay, from the background report, we saw that students elated, they are happy, you know, with this move Mr. President has taken, but that cannot be said for the likes of ASU and SANU. There are now divergent opinions about the student loans. What do you think is the grounds of ASU and SANU on this?
I think, the last time I was listening to, the ASU chairman, Emmanuel Shodeke, and obviously, as at that particular time when he was granting that interview, he had not read the act, and really fully understand the scope. So I would say that those who are kicking against it, they are yet to come to terms with the entire bill, the entire act, to understand what it means for a common man. Because the bill or the loan actually is for the indigent, meaning the poor or the most vulnerable, critical mass in a society, for them to be able to access, higher education.
Okay, now for the benefit of those who would not know what this loan is actually about, can you enlighten us more on the implications of this loan to the educational sector?
Okay, so the implication of this loan is first and foremost, it says that you can, get a loan to to pay tuition fee, which means once you get an admission into the university or polytechnic or college of education or vocational or technical institution of public, financed by either the federal or the state government, once you get an admission into it, you shouldn't bother your head about the tuition fee, which means you can actually apply, all right, you can actually apply for a loan through the school. Either the rector or the provost or the vice chancellor or the registrar of the particular institution you attend, will have to, attend to it that yes, you are assessing this particular loan, and within 30 days, this loan will be paid to the institution. It will not be paid to the beneficiary or to the student, okay? It will be paid to the institution. So what then that means is that, and all of this, both the application and the disbursement has to happen within 30 days. So what that means is that the one who want to access, that education or the loan, all right, don't have to bother about where will I get the school fees. A lot more,
because it's already paid into the school's account.
It's paid into the school account. So all you need to do is to now focus on the studies, and that can happen till you're graduated. So, and once you graduate, you are given at least 2 years after you are graduated to start paying. Okay, so it's a very beautiful idea, and that is what we run abroad to go and enjoy.
All right, now this will definitely help parents, right? Reduce the stress of seeking funds to put their children through school.
That's right.
Now, there is this notion that this student loan is a gimmick from the side of government, so they stop funding the education sector, institutions. Is this true?
Well, in my own opinion, I've had, maybe unofficially, that government is trying to see how to remove their hand from funding tertiary education. And I've had many comments that says that university education is actually not a right, but a privilege. Okay, so what then that means is actually not for everybody. That's the truth of the matter. It's not for everybody. Not everybody must go to the university. There will be those that will go for vocation, or technical, or colleges of education, or even polytechnics. Okay, so what then that means is that government must, as a matter of fact, free resources where need be, so that it can be pumped into economy. Because don't forget that, okay, those who access this particular loan are going to pay back. And so when they are out of the school system, they must either create jobs by themselves to be self-employed, or they be gainfully employed. So the establishment that's going to absorb all of these people that are graduating, the economy has to be vibrant enough to be able to accommodate them.
Okay, now we are now looking at let's leave the loan, because it's from September this year that they'll be able to access it, and we are hoping that the students and their parents would have gotten the criterias ready for that. Now, let's look at some gray areas concerning the sustainability of the scheme, the repayment, disbursement, and who qualifies, the recovery of the loan. How will all this play out?
Now, first and foremost, I've had people talk about the sustainability, because this is not the first time the Nigerian environment is introducing, or the Nigerian government is introducing Student Loan Act. Okay, now, where will the fund come from? When we look at that particular bill very well, it talks about 1% of the revenue that comes into the federal purse, okay, from FIRS, from immigration, and also from custom. So all of this 1%, okay, then the oil revenue Okay, so now, judging by year 2022, okay, the statistics shows that FIRS remitted about 10.1 trillion. Okay, so if we take 1% of that, that's about 100 billion naira. Okay, then custom, that's about 248 and the likes. By the time you put it together, so you have a large sum of money readily available to be disbursed for would-be beneficiary. Now, so the repayment is so, I mean, the repayment is so easy, if I may say that, because once you are done from school, okay, you are asked to pay 10% of your monthly income. So whether you are self-employed or you are employed into an establishment, 10% cannot be too much for you to pay.
Well, I'm sure that students, when they take the loan, they will start keeping some monies aside from whatever funds that they are able to gather, so that peradventure they don't get a job 2 years after graduation, they will be able to still repay the loan.
Exactly. But I must also say, that it's individual responsibility now. When we assess the loan, we must ensure to pay back so that fund can be made available for those others to also benefit.
Thank you very much, Agbenga Arowolo, for increasing the horizon, the horizon of Nigerians, on this topic on Panorama today. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And on the sporting scene, for the latest, over now to Gift Judge. China says President Bola Tinubu has departed Abuja for Paris to participate in the summit for New Global Financial Pact, which begins on Thursday, 22nd of June 2023. The president left Abuja via the presidential wing of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport for the first official trip abroad. The president will join other world leaders to review and sign a new global financial pact that places vulnerable countries on priority list for support and investment following devastating impact of climate change, energy crisis, and after effect of a COVID-19 pandemic. The two-day summit will also look at opportunities to restore fiscal space to countries that face difficult short-term financial challenges, especially the most indebted, mobilize innovative financing for countries vulnerable to climate change, foster development in low-income countries, and encourage investments in green infrastructure for the energy transition in emerging and developing economies. The special advisor to the president on special duties, communication and strategy, Dele Alake, says the trip holds a lot of potential for the country. And that's a package on Panorama this week from the Lagos Network Center of the NTA. Do join us again. I am Adeola Komiya Kere. Enjoy the rest of your day.